All right, guys, here we go. It has been 2 years since we bought the 100 amp RYOBI lawnmower, and we've gotten a lot of questions and a lot of comments and a lot of views on those videos because people are very interested in what this amazing thing has to offer. If you have not seen those videos, we will put a link in the description of our yard stuff playlist, and you can, kind of scroll through and check them out, the ones that you missed or whatever. At this point in time, guys, we have had this baby for 2 years, okay? We have crushed through winter, plowing, all those things, and it's just done a miraculous job. We have about 42 hours on it. It is quite filthy from, winter time and everything and plowing with it. Basically what I did is I unplugged it, pulled it out here, and we have at this point in time 42.5 hours is what that's saying. Hard to see in the sun. It has a completely full charge, okay? We have had 0 issues. Actually, I just checked the tires. I haven't even touched these tires since we bought this 2 years ago, and even plowing with it and everything and using this thing, in all seasons, nothing. They're perfect. It's unbelievable. 0 maintenance at this point. All we have done is change the blades back and forth in the summer and the fall to the mulching blades. Now, as you can see, this grass is redonkulous, okay? This is the first cut of the year. And the reason that it is so bad is because we actually left for spring break, went to Florida, and then we got trapped there because of these hailstorms for like extra days. Then there was more making up when we got back, homework, and, work and all that kind of stuff. So this is no joke. This is really high. There are parts of this grass that are easily a foot tall, if not taller. Now, we did just get done doing all the edging and trimming. Jack had to go to a birthday party. He loves riding this thing, and he usually does this for me, but I cannot put this off any longer. I got to get it done today because it is supposed to rain even more after today, and this is getting ridiculous. I left the bags on. I'm going to be bagging them, and we have a huge compost we're going to be throwing them in. We're just going to see how this thing goes. Again, 2 solid years, used it for plowing, used it for leaf pickup. It is doing a phenomenal job. 42.5 hours at this point. Probably going to put a good hour or 2 on it today. We have about 2/3 of an acre, but that does not include the tree lawn. Our tree lawn is crazy. It goes all the way around because we're in between 2 cul-de-sacs. I will probably take 15 to 20 minutes, if not longer, just to do the tree lawn. And in one swipe, I'll have to stop to empty the bags. That's how long this grass is. So we're going to give this a shot. We're going to see what happens. We're going to give you guys an update on this baby. We love it. So far, it's really worked out well. Let's see how it performs. This grass is a little tiny bit moist, but not very wet yet anymore. So it should do a really great job at bagging it up and cleaning it up. We're going to see how many bags we get, and we're going to give you guys an update. At this point in time, from a maintenance standpoint, the only thing that's recommended is changing in this back gearbox some kind of fluid, motor lubrication or something. We have not even bothered looking into it because we're not even halfway there, and at this rate it may take 4 to 5 years to get there. So and then I've also seen conflicting information that says you don't have to do it. So when we get closer to that, we will investigate that, and we will definitely do a video on it. Depending on how much we use this over the next couple of years, we may hit that 100 sooner. I did forget to mention, obviously I took the plow off. That's very easy to do with 2 pins. We do leave that bracket on there because it's not in the way, and that way we don't have to mess with it. If we ever do need that plow, we can pop it back on. Again, we've done several videos about that. As far as the deck goes, I do plow with it in the wintertime. I just raise it up. It doesn't really get wet because obviously the plow pushes the snow out of the way before I get to it. So that's another thing. You don't really have to worry about that. The other thing I wanted to mention is I do leave the bags on until it dries out. I only really mulch for a couple months out of the summer because it's just, we get too many leaves around here. You can see with all these oak trees, and they're just budding, and then the buds fall, and we just get a lot of stuff. So we do not really take those bags off, except for maybe like July, August, something like that. Maybe June if it's dry. Otherwise, we get too much leaves and stuff. The other thing I wanted to mention, many people have asked, have you ever figured out a way to disable the backwards beeping? We have not. If you do unplug this, the mower will not work. So that's, we haven't really looked into it further because we really don't back up with it very much. So it doesn't really bother us. From that standpoint. In the wintertime, we back up with it, but I'm usually wearing, you know, earmuffs and headgear and all kind of stuff for the cold weather, you know, so it doesn't really bother me if it beeps anyway in the wintertime. As far as the blades go, these are the same bagging blades that I put on in the fall. I do have an extra set of bagging blades, and I do have an extra set of mulching blades. They're all in the shed. And again, in a month or so, if it dries out really good and we can take these bags off and mulch, we'll just swap those blades. Very simple and easy to do. All right, so just doing a super quick stop here, guys, just to let you see, I'm doing about a half of a length. And that is because this is just still wet a little bit, and it's super tall. We got a lot of leaf patches like this from areas we cleared out, you know, on the mulch and stuff. So yeah, it's, I mean, about a half of a length, pretty much what anyone would do with any sort of mower in this kind of, you know, situation. My neighbor actually just did his. He pays someone and they have a big, huge, full size, you know, Skag type of thing, and, you know, no problem. But I'm very impressed. I mean, this thing is crushing. Again, these are the same blades that were on here. I went for about 4 or 5 minutes and the 2 bags were already full. That's how tall this is. So, and the cool part is too, it's got this little guy. So if you look over here to your right and this ain't spinning, you know you got a clog, or you know your bags are full. The other thing I wanted to show you is the only problem we've ever had on this thing. Well, first of all, it does have a USB. So if you're using a phone or a camera or something of that nature, you could charge it. It's got a little holder in here, you know, so that's really kind of neat. It's got the headlights. We talked about those before. They're doing great. It does have a cruise control. If you got a really super long way to go, you could just use that. Now, here's the only thing. If you want to go in reverse with the blade on, you hit this button first. Now, here's the only thing. That light has burned out or somehow got disconnected. So if I'm driving and I want to go in reverse and I want the blade on because maybe I'm backing in an area that I want to cut, which, you know, we really hardly ever have to do. The way we do things here is we just kind of go around in circles and into the inside. But anyway, if you do need to do that, you hit this button. Now, the button still works and the mode still works. It just doesn't light up, so we don't know. But for us, it's really not that big of a deal. Okay, I do want to show you guys really what the sound is like on this thing. A lot of people expect this thing to be very, very quiet. You do have to remember that there are 2 humongous blades underneath this thing spinning very quickly. You know, I mean, like a helicopter, you can hear the blades of a helicopter. The reason you normally don't hear the blades of a lawnmower is because the engine is loud. Well, this doesn't have an engine. So instead of hearing the engine, you can hear the little bit of the whir of the motor, but mostly you're hearing the fan, the blade wind, okay? So I'm gonna turn this on, just give you an idea. I just had it off, and I'm also gonna show you this reverse thing, how it works, okay? All you have to do is if you wanna go, if you're in forward and you wanna go in reverse with the blade on, for some reason, and I'll show you, then you know, all you have to do is hit that button. So let's turn it on. Hopefully you could kind of hear me, and I'll show you how this works. So you turn it on. Obviously it doesn't make any noise, but the lights go on so that you know it's on, okay? Now, in order to turn the blade on, you pull up on this. There you go. And then you turn it down to turn it off. Very simple. Again, it is pretty loud, and this is on the sidewalk. That's not over the grass. It is a little more muffled on the grass and when it's cutting, obviously. And I'll show you that as well. But I want to show you how this reverse thing works just in case you wanted to use it. It is kind of nice. My old mower did not have a reverse mode with the blade running. It simply was not able to do that. So that was kind of nice if you do need it. So we're going to turn it on, put it in forward, go forward. I'm going to show you how to hit the button and then put it in reverse, okay? So blade on. Okay, now, let's say you wanted to go in reverse. You hit this button. Put it in reverse. The blade stays on. And then you can cut backwards, okay? Going to turn off, okay? And then it'll beep because you're in reverse. So again, if you don't want to use that, you simply don't hit it. If you do want to use it, you hit it. And that's the only thing, is that light turned off. I do find that to be somewhat helpful sometimes when I'm trying to get over there in the corner it is nice to kind of put it in reverse with the blade on, back up, and then kind of cut as I'm backing into that area and cut as I come out. I really don't use it very much. So again, let's keep cutting here. Jack's really going to be kind of upset that he missed this. He likes when the grass is really tall. He loves driving this thing. He finds it to be very, very fun. The other thing that I want to show you guys, if you don't have the blade on and you have this in forward, it is quite fast. It moves. You know, just to give you an idea, and you can hear the motor whirring there. I mean, we're going along pretty quick here. So when I go to empty you know, let's say that the bag is full and I want to save a little energy. Let's say I got a big day like today, I could turn it off and I could just zip over here. Obviously moving this thing, it goes about twice as fast with the blade off as it does with the blade on. And it's almost kind of like a little bit of a go-kart kind of situation. I mean, it kind of looks like a go-kart or a dune buggy. And Jack will sometimes lift up the blade all the time and he'll kind of cruise around the neighborhood and, you know, go up to the park and things like that and kind of use it as a little go-kart kind of situation, which is actually kind of fun. The only thing that we have had people comment about as well with the bounciness is it does not have incredibly good shocking. It is a little bouncy. Now, of course, it's much more smooth. It has zero vibration like another mower would have. I mean, there's no vibration at all. Even with the blades going, you really don't even know. If you couldn't hear them, you really wouldn't feel it. The only thing is, you know, the seat has a nice spring and everything, but the actual suspension itself, if you're going over bumps, you do feel those more so than I do remember feeling them on my old mower. We don't have a lot of bumps and hills and things, so it's not an issue for us. Some people have said in the comments that when they got one, they found that a little surprising. And there is a difference for sure, but for us, it's not a huge difference because, you know, we're not taking it off-roading or something of that nature. Okay, trying to remember all the questions we got. This was another one. You will see that, and this is one thing that I don't love about this. Now, I do around all the trim and everything, and Jack just kind of does the back. But a lot of people have asked us about this. You can see this front tire, you got a lot of clearance when you're going around the bricks. And that works out really good. We do trim them ahead of time, as you see, you know, so I don't have to get too close. But the blade comes here. If you look at this back tire sticks out a little bit. I don't love that. I have on several occasions when I'm trying to get close, bumped these bricks and moved them or flipped it with the back tire. It would be nice if they would have just had this come in a little bit, kind of equal to the front tire. Might have something to do with the turning radius or something like that. The other thing a lot of people ask us is, why didn't you get a zero turn? If you look at how our yard is, well, first of all, they're more expensive, obviously, but if you look at how our yard is, it's very round. We have a lot of circles. We have a lot of beds. We have a lot of areas that are curved. We don't have a lot of straightaways. We don't do a lot of like, hey, line this way, line that way. We go around in circles, and that's kind of how our yard is. This has a very sharp turn. We have numerous circles, you know, with around trees and stuff like that, and I'll show you, but they're 4 or 5 feet in diameter. This lamppost is about 5 feet diameter. We can go around that no problem. We can cut actually a circle much smaller than that. So for us, it serves its purpose. If you really want those kind of like turn around, come back, turn around kind of lines, yeah, you can get a zero turn. It is quite a bit more expensive. We didn't feel it was right for us. This does the trick. It has a great radius. You can see, I mean, look at this, how far this turns. I mean, it's really, really cool. So we have no problem at all with that. But that is something that you want to point out there. You want to be careful if you're going and hitting things. If you do take this all the way to the edge, you will hit the tire. And a lot of people have said, hey, with this electric mowers and this sort of thing, is it able to handle that? I hit sticks every single time we cut grass with this thing. Jack hits sticks every single time. It is never a problem. It chops them up. It slices and dices them just like any other mower would. No problem at all. And then, of course, you know, we pick those pieces up and throw them. You know, we throw them in our little burn pile here. But, yeah, you can see with all these trees and stuff, we get sticks a lot. We do try to get them all most of the time. We miss some. And, of course, you know, and sometimes even with this, we have rocks over here. Sometimes those guys come out of play with animals and stuff, and we do hit rocks and pebbles and all kind of things like that as well. So at the end of the day, yes, it has no problem with that. We've never had an issue. We have not had a blade bend or break or any issues with that. And it's been, you know, 2 years, which this is actually our 3rd spring with it and all that, and there's no issue at all. So addressing those questions as well. All right, so there we go. This is our 5th drop, so that's 10 bags already. We're about half done here, and we're about half battery. This will probably be the first time ever that I use the entire battery. It's just the grass is really tall. I'm trying to do, you know, 1/2 to 2/3 lengths, and it's still kind of bogging down. This stuff's just crazy. If it were really dry, it might be a little bit better. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying. I don't want to kill the thing, obviously, like, you know, any mower. And even when I had, you know, a gas mower, I mean, I couldn't just take a full length out. When you're talking grass like this tall, guys, I mean, this is crazy. It's crazy. I mean, if we look at this, it's got basically one bar left and then one flashing bar. So basically it's letting you know you're getting close. Only one other time did it ever quit on me, when there was tons and tons of leaves. Jack and I were out here like all day doing leaves and stuff, and it did run out, and I didn't really time it or anything. We were almost done. Now here's the one cool part about it. When it goes down to that last bar, it will not allow you to put the blade on. And basically what I think, maybe, I never looked it up, but it seems like they leave a little bit of energy in there so you can drive it to wherever you need to go. You know, obviously if you're out and you have a lot of property, you're not gonna be able to get back to plug it in. So the blade stops turning on, and then you're left with probably, I don't know, 5 minutes or whatever of energy to then, you know, get back to where you need to go to plug it in. That did not happen to me this time, but it was really pretty close, I think.
All right, guys, it is now the next day, because what I did here is I got really busy and I forgot to show the numbers. So where we are here is I pulled this around, and again, it was only on this red bar, and this red bar here was flashing. Now you can see it says 43.9. Again, when we started, we were at 42.5. That means, according to this, we only went 1.4 hours. But even though it's totally filled up, and even though I recharged it overnight here, we should have gotten more, because again, this is the the 100 amp, and it should be able to go 2.5 miles or 2.5 hours is what it says. However, I think the reason that it was not able to do that is because of the fact that the grass was so crazy and I was having to go over and over and over. And I think running back and forth to dump the bags and all that added all that extra time. It would be interesting to see if it had some sort of, mileage thing on it that you could compare how far you've actually gone. Because you're supposed to be able to cut 2.5 acres. We only had an acre with the tree lawn and everything, like I said, but it only, it did it all, but it shouldn't have used the whole battery. I think basically what it did is it was under that extra stress with the extra lawn grass and the running back and forth to dump it and, doing half a length and all that. So 1.4, basically about 1.5 hours, should have lasted 2.5. But again, with that extra stress involved, I think when they do those measurements, it's under completely normal, conditions. And that, of course, was not. I mean, ultimately, that explanation makes sense to me as to why it ran out the battery earlier, because that is a lot of work to put on it. And it did last an awful long time. This thing clocked basically 1.5 hours, but again, with that extra stress. So we're going to definitely keep an eye on it. We're going to see how it does. We're going to see if this battery is lasting longer or shorter. I will tell you, in the summertime, at least last summer, if it was a warm day and I had the mulching blades on and the grass was dry, I could knock this out in an hour and it would register as an hour, and it wouldn't even use half the battery at all. You know what I mean? So I think that now it has been sitting out here in the garage all winter, even though we do have an attached garage and it stays relatively warm. It has been sitting out here in the garage all winter, and I did use it about 5 or 6 times to plow the driveway. So that could have had an effect. We won't really know yet. It's difficult to tell with yesterday's kind of extreme situations. But as the summer goes on, if this battery does start to tend to lose power, even on those easy cutting days, we'll see. We don't have a tremendous amount of hills, so it wasn't that. But I do think that that bogging of the motors down, giving them that extra work, you know, when we were cutting that really long grass did matter. So we'll find out. We'll see how it goes. But we will continue to do updates on this as we do with all of our products and everything that we buy. We got the Volt. We're doing updates on that. We got the work stuff. We're doing updates on those. All that work stuff and all the batteries. We got the rain barrels we're going to be hooking up soon. Lots and lots of stuff coming up. And, you know, just continually trying to do updates so that people know, hey, are these the sort of investments I want to make? Is this something that's going to last or not? Again, we're not really supposed to do any maintenance on this thing for another 2 years according to what's going on here, another 50 hours or so. So it should be doing well. If it's not, we're definitely going to get a hold of RYOBI. We're definitely going to talk to them. And we're going to be, you know, posting all of those videos and interactions that happen. So we'll kind of see where it goes from there. Anyway, guys, if you like this kind of video, definitely check out our yard playlist. I'll put a link in the description. Of course, we do lots of other kind of videos on health and wellness in our aquariums and all kind of stuff like that. And you can see the different categories in our different playlists if you're interested in those sorts of things. You know, you can look up some of those other things too. But anyway, guys, hopefully it was helpful. We will continue to update it. And, you know, if you have more questions that we didn't address, put them down in the comments. We'll address them in the next video. Take care, guys. Have an awesome day.